Hey everyone, welcome back to Williamson Ridge Outdoors. Today we are down on the driveway. Actually, we're in front of the Kubota tractor because I've got it sitting here parked on the hill. And what I'm working on doing, as you can see, I've got some trees and things that are growing in the edge of the driveway. And this stuff is currently coming out into the edge of the driveway. So like when we come through here and try to turn, then, you know, the fronts of our vehicles and stuff are hitting these limbs. And then on farther down here, we've got stuff, again, hanging out into the edge. So I've brought one of my battery chainsaws today, and I'm going to go through and just cut everything off that I can and take all the brush and then just pile it over here in the driveway. Use the Kubota M6060 with the grapple, and then just pick up my piles, and I'll be able to clear out the driveway. So we've got our Vevor chainsaw scabbard on here, and this is the first chainsaw, actually, that this scabbard does not work well with. And it's because this saw does not have bucking spikes on it. So there's nothing to really hold it in place so it can actually just move around in there. But every saw that I've used so far that has bucking spikes on it, it sits right there and doesn't move at all. So this is something to look for, you know, if you're trying to figure out which saw you're going to be using for your scabbard. You know, like what saw you carry in it does make a difference of how well it works. So today I'm going to be using the Atlas 40 volt because I've actually been getting some comments and stuff asking how this saw is doing and, you know, how I still like it. And I've had these actually for a pretty good while. And I've gotten to the point though where I have quite a few different saws, so I don't use these saws as much as I used to. But the answer to that question is that I've used this saw a lot whenever I first got it, and I've used it kind of intermittently in between. And it's held up well. I don't use it on a daily basis, again, because I have like 9 or 10 other saws. So I tend to kind of rotate between saws all the time because there's certain things about every saw that I tend to like. So I figured for today's purposes, going down here and cutting this light brush and cutting these little small trees and stuff down, that this would be the perfect lightweight battery saw. Doesn't make any noise, you know, and just easy to use. And I'm not going to be cutting all day with it. So this is like the perfect thing to use these saws for. Now, can you cut bigger stuff? Absolutely. You can cut logs and stuff with them all the way up to, you know, the full 16-inch capacity of the bar. And they'll cut through that stuff. But you can't do that day in and day out. So these kind of jobs are the perfect thing. And I don't have no worries about the battery going dead or anything like that while I'm using the saw. So let's jump in here. Let's get a bunch of this stuff cleared out. I've been wanting to clean my right-of-way up down through here for a long time, so today's the day. It's nice and cool, and we're going to do a little bit of battery power and a little tractor power. I don't know if you've ever cut down a locust tree before, but whenever the branches are small, they have these big thorns and stuff sticking out on them. So as they come down, you really got to watch these because they will snag you. And these aren't like little briars in the bushes. These are, you know, pretty solid. And they'll grab you. But now the main trunk, once it starts getting up to the larger size, the thorns go away on this part, but all the little branches and stuff, so you got to really watch about getting tangled up in there. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start moving a little bit of stuff. This stuff here is actually a tree that fell and everything's tied up in these vines and got everything pulled in here in the edge of the driveway. But I think once I kind of pull this stuff out and then kind of clean up this, that's really going to push them limbs back a lot to keep them from brushing on the vehicles. Not real sure what happened, but somehow my camera got spun around backwards, so I missed a whole bunch of footage there. Well, I thought by pulling those vines out of that one tree that it was going to pretty much eliminate all this overhang over the driveway. But as you can see, well, it's hard to tell on the camera, but these trees right here are hanging up and then hanging right over top of the driveway, and that's kind of like right where the truck goes through. So I am going to take those out and just get rid of that completely. May have to come back with the trimmer and put a blade on it and cut this briary brush and stuff back just to kind of get it back to the top of that bank back there. But it's opening up pretty good, so I'm going to try to get that last little group of trees down out there, and we'll move them out of the way, and then that should be good for today anyways. Well, in typical fashion, I kind of tend to go overboard. I originally just planned on clearing out just a little bit of that overhang, but I realized that the overhang was coming from the trees up on the bank, and as I cut out the underbrush, all the stuff on the top was still overhanging the driveway. So I was like, well, I'm just going to cut it all out, forget it. I've got the chainsaw down here, I got the tractor and the grapple. So I went through and cut pretty much everything loose along the top of that bank, and so now I'm just going to carry it all back out. These little battery chainsaws are perfect for this kind of stuff, especially if you get one like this that's pretty lightweight. So it kind of gives you, it kind of gives you that maneuverability, but then the battery, it lasts a long time too. I cut a couple decent sized trees, probably like, 6-inch or 8-inch or something like that. And then I've cut quite a bit of stumps and little 3- and 4-inch stuff, and then limbs and all kinds of things. And this battery, I've still got 3 bars on the battery. So, with all that, I've been down here total probably a couple hours working on this stuff. So a battery like this and a battery chainsaw, when you're doing a job where you have to cut a few things and then clear stuff out of your way and cut some more, and these saws are great for that kind of stuff. And it's quiet while you're working. You don't have all that noise going on. And then each time you need your saw, where you're setting it down and then picking it back up, you don't have to restart it. And that's a big plus right there, because, you know, if you got a gas saw and you set it on the ground, if you're going to be there for 5 minutes or running up and taking trees and brush, putting it over the hill, then your saw, you have to shut it off. When you come back, you got to restart it. And all that becomes a hassle and time consuming, whereas something like this, you just pull the trigger and it's going. It's ready to go. You don't have to worry about doing all that. So really handy in these situations. So like I was saying before, a lot of people asked how the Atlas saws are holding up. They work great. I mean, they're still doing good. And I've used, like I say, I've used this saw quite a lot. The only problem I have, sorry I'm out of breath here because I've been climbing around on that hillside and stuff there, and kind of got me winded a little bit. But the only problem I've had with this saw is the chain occasionally wants to jump off the bar, and I don't know exactly why. I don't have that trouble, it seems like, with any other saw, but I've only had it do it either 2 or 3 times the entire time I've had it. But it seems like you get it just in the right situation and it'll pop the chain off of it. You got to pinch it, you know, like you're about to get it pinched and you pull it out or something. Maybe the chain doesn't stop all the way before you pull it out of the pinch, and, you know, it causes it to jump off of there. But this is the only saw, well, actually, I've had my Milwaukee battery saw do that one time. But other than that, like, this is the only saw that actually does that. And but again, it's only done it a few times. So anyways, we're going to jump back in here. I'm going to get the rest of this stuff cleaned out, but I'm going to try to get back in here and get the driveway cleared out. And that way I'm at least not blocking it in case any delivery people or anything need up here. Well, I didn't really plan on doing this, but these trees were aggravating me because everything else I've got cleared out. And then I had 2 trees sitting here and everything's kind of, again, overhanging the driveway. And I was like, you know what, forget it. I'll just cut it out. This one's a small cherry tree, so I'll use the bottom of it for some firewood, but it's just, you know, maybe 6 inches, maybe 7 in diameter, but it's not very big, but I'll get a little bit of firewood out of it, and then the rest of it just go over the hill. So it worked out pretty good. They got our driveway cleaned up, and, you know, the problem we had with that before, too, is those trees overgrowing the driveway. Well, we had an ice storm a couple years ago, and all that weight of that ice just folded everything over and right over into the driveway, and we couldn't even get out of the driveway until we cut a path through there, and it was like driving through a tunnel, and everything kind of went back up whenever it thawed out, but then everything's still over the driveway. Now it's just completely clear, and if we have another ice storm or anything like that happens, we don't have to worry about the driveway getting blocked. Plus, if we need to swing wide and try to fit our trailers and stuff through there, then we have the room to do that without scraping the brush and the little tree limbs and all that. So it's going to work out good. But that little Atlas saw actually was the perfect saw for that job. It didn't use but one bar on the battery, and I took down a few good-sized trees and cut up quite a bit of brush. And you know, the saws like that, when you use them intermittently, they have plenty of power and they will last a long time. So I'm happy with the battery saws because they're peaceful too, because they're just so quiet, you know, and then you don't have to pull start and do all that. So anyways, we got the driveway cleaned up and had a good time doing it and using their chainsaws, and kind of in that season now of firewood season. So there's going to be a lot more of the chainsaws and cutting firewood and all that coming up, because now it is time to really buckle down and try to get firewood for next year, not this year. So hopefully we can get all that done. If you enjoyed the video today, I appreciate you hitting that thumbs up button. And until next time, keep it outdoors, and we'll see you on the next one.